What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Who You Got with
Mellow.
and Rado. It's a sports podcast where we talk your favorite sports debates, sports highlights, and sports matchups. And we got a good one for you guys today. But before that, I want to tell you guys to go ahead and please, if you're watching, go ahead and click that subscribe button or click the like below if you're watching us on YouTube. And if you're watching us on Facebook, please make sure that you guys comment and make sure you guys are chatting along with us while we're live. Also, we got a Patreon, and if you guys want to check that out, we're on Patreon at patreon.com/whoyougot, patreon.com/whoyougot podcast, that is. Also, we're on social media, Twitter, Facebook. You can find us anywhere, wherever we got the
Anywhere and everywhere.
pretty much, man. And also just want to let you guys know we also have a Twitch channel, so check us out there as well. We love to post our stuff on there too if you guys are not on any other podcast platform, but we're also there as well. Apple, Spotify, anywhere you want to find us, and also on our personal social media sites. I'm at Iconic Dude on Instagram and
Mellow the Notorious.
So what are we talking about today, Mello, real quick?
So usually when me and Rado get on topics, I usually like to stay away from topics that everyone else is covering, basically. But this one I've been seeing for a couple weeks now, and I just couldn't stay away from it.
And what's this one? I want to hear this one. This
Pretty
is
much with Klay Thompson winning his 4th ring with the Warriors, a lot of people have been saying, is that enough? Is his resume enough to say, as of right now, if he's a better overall basketball player than Ray Allen? And that's what we're here to talk about today. Ray Allen's whole career,
that's a tough one.
Klay Thompson's career up to this point, who's a better overall player?
Man, see, that's a good one because honestly, obviously, both players are known for that 3-point shot, and Ray Allen's had a hell of a career, and so is Klay Thompson. So, I mean, definitely want to get into this debate. This is going to be a good one because I don't know if we're going to agree or not. Let's see. I mean, you want to go ahead and stats real quick?
Obviously, we're talking about Ray Allen, ranked number 2 all-time in three-pointers, 2,973. Just got broken this year by Steph Curry. And before Steph Curry came along, Ray Allen was considered the best to ever do it, surpassing Reggie Miller, who was pretty much considered to be that person, and obviously with the most threes over a career.
Right.
Allen pretty much Hall of Fame player, 10 All-Star teams, 2 All-NBA teams, 2 championships.
Right.
And then obviously on the other end, you got Klay Thompson. 5 All-Star teams, 4 championships. That's the one thing that's the best on his resume. And obviously, he actually currently holds the record for most threes in a game at 14.
14, yeah.
So
Crazy.
both of them are just pretty dominant on the offensive side of the court. Made their living on pretty much getting buckets. So pretty much to distinguish between those two type of players, all-time greats and gonna be 2 Hall of Famers.
Oh, for sure.
No
First
question
ballot Hall
about
of
it.
Famers. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't do it like that in like NFL, but they're
Exactly.
Hall of Famers, yeah.
And pretty much prolific shooters, some of the best to ever do it. Basically, we want to compare those careers and see who do you think is pretty much better. So
it's an interesting one, man. It's definitely an interesting one. I mean, obviously Klay does have the 2 extra championships, but what do you think?
So I figure we just read off a couple stats, list this resume.
Exactly.
Kind of let people know exactly what each person's bringing to the table.
Right.
So I gotta.
So I mean, yeah, like you said, like Ray Allen does have 2 rings. Klay has the 4. I mean, Ray Allen's played the 11 times in the playoffs. Klay's played 8. Ray Allen's leading in All-Star games 10-5, and also Ray Allen and Klay Thompson are tied with all NBA teams at 2. But Klay Thompson does have the 1 all-defensive selection. So
he got definitely. So that's the one thing that it sucks about this conversation because Klay Thompson has half a career while Ray Allen had a full career. So he got 18 seasons versus 11. So a lot of what we're going to go off of, especially the stats, a lot of it is skewed by end of career seasons. You know, when you get to that age. So when it comes to a regular season record, Ray Allen, actually Klay Thompson actually got the win with that one. But at the end of the day, he played on what some people consider the greatest team of all time, or at least one of them, with those 4 championship wins, with the 73-9 plus two teams with the Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
So,
But
and
one
that's
of those he
another,
was out.
and that's another thing too. One of those he was out.
Just the championship though. He wasn't the regular season.
Right, exactly. So like you said, multiple times they went to the playoff. Klay went to the playoffs 8 times so far. Ray went 11 his whole career. Playoff records, Klay got a better record, pretty much 70-58. And like I said, the Warrior teams were pretty good. Obviously 4-time champion to a 2-time champion. All NBA second team. Neither one made first team.
No, they're both second team, but
no, Klay didn't make no second team. He made 2 third teams.
Really, I thought he made a second team early in his career. Wow,
There was 2 third teams.
I mean, there's a lot
15
of
and
shooting
16.
guards. A lot of shooting guards.
Yeah,
Kobe,
especially in the West.
Harden was there, yeah.
Yeah, so he got 2 third teams, and Ray got 1 second and 1 third. Klay also got the defensive team over Ray.
That's the one thing he does have.
Exactly.
Defensive.
As well as Ray didn't get no rookie honors, so he got a second team while Klay got a first team when it came to their rookies. So like you said, 10-time All-Star appearances for Ray Allen, to 5 for Klay Thompson. Pretty much Ray even had a dunk contest in there. Plus
he did.
Three-point
contest.
6 3-point contests, which he won 1.
Yep.
Klay pretty much won 1 as well in 2016, and he played 4 times, but he don't got that dunk contest in there. He didn't try.
But he's got the 3-point contest one.
Yeah, so they both got
they
one.
both
Exactly.
got that on their belt.
Exactly.
Which is good, as a 3-point, like one of the best 3-point shooters ever. Like that's
I feel like you have to have a 3-point contest under your belt.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to, but
you have to.
you
Curry
can't be
got it, Klay
exactly.
Thompson
You
has it,
can't
Ray
be
Allen
considered.
I think Reggie got one too, right?
Oh yeah, and that's why I always felt like Cat as a big man, he holds the distinction of, while people might think it's Dirk, at the end of the day, Cat at this point in age got the stats to hold the distinction of being the best shooting big man. Not to mention, the man has won a 3-point contest.
I mean, yeah, I can't cap. He's got one of the best 3-point shots as a big man. I would also put Porzingis in there just because he hasn't been in the 3-point contest, though.
Yep.
It doesn't really put him on the top echelon, but he's still a great 3-point shooter as a big man as well.
No, for sure. Nah,
so
definitely I feel like as a shooter, and especially because I think Klay Thompson is still 8th or 9th on the list of all time.
Yeah, he's still
he's
not reaching the top 5,
like 1,000 away from Ray.
Yeah, you're talking about 3-pointers, or you're talking about just
of all time?
So he's actually only 700 away from Ray 3-pointers, but as far as points, he's about 10,000 points away, 12,000 points away from Ray.
Nah, he's 1,000. He got 1,912, right? And Ray got 2,973.
Yeah, all right.
So I'll be honest. That's 11 years in.
Does that count injury, the playoffs though as well, or no?
That's all time.
Okay, yeah.
That's just all time. Yeah,
Gotcha. So yeah, I mean,
but yeah,
he's got 1,000 less than him. So
but he's only been in for 11 years, 2 years off with that injury. I don't know if they count that in.
I was gonna say, so basically, Klay's got 2,000 3-pointers and Ray's got 3,000 3-pointers. We can say it pretty much like that.
About that.
But Ray played 18 seasons and Klay played 9 seasons so far. So that's one thing we definitely got to put into account.
For sure.
So it looks like he's about to double him if he plays the amount of career that Ray Allen played as far as 3-pointers.
It also depends because the career averages also play a story. Because Ray shot he's shooting 7 threes a game career average.
Right.
To Klay shooting 7 threes a game to Ray Allen's 5.
For sure. I mean,
so Klay's been shooting more. And he's already up there. We already know he's one of those. But I feel like depending on what his career turns out to be, if he stays at number 2 or number 3, if he pays for it, I think he might. But it depends.
I'm gonna be honest. There's no doubt in my mind
that he's gonna pass him.
Gonna end up second all
number
time.
2.
once he finishes his career,
Yeah,
obviously it's still
1,000
early.
ain't that much. You could get a couple hundred a year.
Like you just said, he's averaging way more than Ray Allen already, and the game has changed so much where the 3-point is worth way more. And
Yeah.
at the end of your career, that's the one thing you can do is shoot the 3-point. That's the one thing about Ray Allen. He changed up his game a lot. He used to be a dunker. He used to be, the main guy where he would be the ball handler and
Yeah, exactly.
scorer. And then he actually changed into a three-point player, obviously, like towards the end of his career.
No, yeah.
They gave him a lot of
So
longevity.
I think you might be right because, like I said, the stats definitely don't lie. But why don't you give us a little bit more on those stats? How was their careers panning out? I basically gave these people the resume when it
Right.
came to what was laid down, what they accomplished. Now let's go over some stats. I love me stats.
Like I said, just their career points. Ray Allen's got 24,500 points, and Klay Thompson's at 12,600.
I don't think he's touching that.
And honestly, I think right now, if you're looking at just those, he's got half the points with half the career. So you can't really say that yet. But the one thing you have to look at is also the playoff stats, and I'll bring those in a second. Because those are just regular season stats right here.
Right.
These are only the regular season. Ray Allen's got him pretty much doubled in total rebounds, 5,200 to 2,200. And the total assists rate, Ray Allen is above him a lot, and 4,300 to 1,500. So he's almost like 4-1 there in the obviously in that category. Steals, Ray Allen's got 1,500. Klay Thompson's 500, but then blocks, Klay Thompson's already beaten Ray Allen in blocks with 350. Pretty much to Ray Allen's 245. I'll just say 244.
So that's the one thing that surprises me. They say Klay Thompson's a better defender, but Ray Allen almost has triple the amount of steals in half his career.
That's true, but then if you look at the blocks, you can see why. The blocks he outblocked.
That's
him,
only 100 more.
But that's in half a career span.
Ray Allen, like you literally told me, and not even you, but I'm saying the whole world considers Klay Thompson to be a better defender than Ray Allen. But Ray Allen finished his career with 1,400 steals.
That's true, but the one thing that Klay Thompson is known for is like putting his hand up and like changing people's shot, and he's got 100, pretty much 100 more blocks than him in his career, and he's got half a career, so he's gonna end up with like 700 blocks possibly. And
No,
Ray
he's
Allen's
not.
possibly 650. Let's say that.
No, but here's the thing, and I've been saying this
That's gonna still
for
be double.
months, and I've been
Still
saying
be
this damn near for years. Klay Thompson's elite defensive days have been over
I
before
get
the
it, but
injury.
he still has long hands. He's still gonna be able to get blocks.
Yeah, but
As
I
far
give him
as-
at this point, he got.
I think you're talking more about his athleticism. Like he can't stay with the guy in front of
exactly,
him.
and them blocks turned
But-
into fouls now.
Possibly, but I think he's still going to be able to get his hand up there and get that. But, I mean, you are right. Like, those stats are definitely, skewed towards Ray Allen's favor. But then if you go to the games, Ray Allen's played 1,300 games where Klay Thompson's only played 640. So if you double his amount of games, then his stats would be definitely
And that's what I'm
on
saying.
par or
Everything
close.
doubled except for the steals.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
And-
I wouldn't expect that.
And assists, I would
And
say.
so I feel like
The
people are
rebounds would be
sleeping
more.
on Ray Allen's defense back in the day. Like
No,
he
I
used to,
agree.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like
I totally agree with you there. I
I
think
still
that Ray Allen
think
should have won.
in his prime, Klay Thompson would be a better defender. Like, because remember, like I said, to me, Klay Thompson's defense right now is just not there, especially coming back after that injury. But I feel like people do sleep on Ray Allen's defense.
I'm gonna be honest, like they slept on him a little bit, but there was a lot more guys that were doing work back in the day when Ray Allen was there. Obviously, you had Iverson, who was a steals leader. You had obviously Gary Payton, who was a steals leader. So you had like a lot more guys that people were paying attention to. Plus, I mean, him getting like this many steals, like he was probably averaging less than like a half a steal a game for his career, if you think about it. I'm sorry, like pretty much a steal a game for his career. That's decent, But then if you look at Klay Thompson's, like, yeah, he's under a steal a game, but he's pretty much more than a half a block a game, where Ray Allen's like not even close to a half a block a game. So if you look at those are definitely skewed. But then even if we move on from those, and then we move on to like, let's say like the playoff stats, I mean, Klay Thompson, like if you want to go just the total points in the playoff stats, Klay Thompson and Ray Allen are pretty much right there at each other. Ray Allen has 2749
they're
points.
pretty good.
And Klay Thompson has 2741 points. So, I'm sorry, 91 points. So, Klay Thompson has him by 50 points already. The rebounds, Klay Thompson's pretty much almost out rebounding him in the playoffs. In the total steals, he's almost right there with him. In the blocks, he's over him. And in the total games, he has 30 games under him. Under Ray Allen.
Klay Thompson has a lot faster. Like Ray Allen had to spend like 8 years being main option and trying to go through his own progression, while when Klay and them kind of built that after probably a couple years as well, but they just had straight domination. Like after that, he barely got into the playoffs in Milwaukee. That wasn't working. Definitely playoff contention with Boston,
Right.
and with the Heat.
Yep.
Seattle wasn't fun. So he definitely Ray had to like work for his. While once the Warriors came into their contention, or they did work for theirs too, but once they got there, they stood there until the last 2 years.
But that's where my argument was going to be. Like that first thing you said about Ray Allen is that he was that first option in the Bucks. So my whole argument, this is where it starts. I mean, we pretty much gave you guys all the stats.
Pretty much.
For
laid it all out.
Yeah, we laid them out for you, and there's a few that I'm gonna lay out later. But my whole argument starts with this: Ray Allen was pretty much the main guy in the Bucks for, like you said, 7 to 8 years.
Let me read you off that roster.
Right. But they had Michael Redd. They had a few guys that were decent. Michael Redd was the best guy that he ever played.
Rafael Austin, Sam Cassell,
Yep.
Vinny Del Negro, Dale Ellis, Darvin Ham, Irvin Johnson, Danny Manning, and J.R. Reed, Glenn Robinson,
Yep, Glenn
Tim
Robinson was
Thomas, Robert Traylor, Mursad Turkin, Scott Williams, and Haywood Workman.
Mm-hmm.
That's the team that that was basically his
Went to the
career.
playoffs with?
His career average is 22.
Okay, yeah.
Like, he was doing his best.
The best player he played with in the Bucks was Michael Redd, and he was good for like 3 years until he got injured. But he was averaging around 20 points a game with him. I remember watching him at that time. But here's the thing: he was the first option in the Bucks. So one thing you got to give him, he played as a first option. Klay Thompson never in his career played in the first option.
Never.
But here's the caveat: once Ray Allen moved to Boston and then Miami, automatically he moved to the number 3 option. When he was in Boston, he was behind KG, Kevin Garnett, and obviously Paul Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he was in, obviously down in Miami, he was behind Chris Bosh, and he was behind, obviously Dwayne Wade and LeBron. So he was pretty much 4th option at that point. So once he moved to his championship caliber and starting to go into the playoffs, he wasn't really a main option. Whereas if you look at Klay Thompson, his whole career, he's been a number 2 option.
Mm-hmm.
So he's never really moved from that position.
Yes, he has.
Slightly, not really.
Yes, he has.
What do you mean?
KD and Curry, he became number 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me, you're right. My bad. I'm definitely.
So for 2 years, he was a number 3.
So for 2 of those championships, you're right. He was definitely. But
and I'll be honest.
But KD was injured one of those years.
Some people might agree that he was a number 3 this year too. He was behind Wiggins. Yes, he was. Behind Curry and Wiggins.
Not as far as point. Like once he came back into the playoffs, no, because he won that second series for them in Dallas. Like he was going off.
Wiggins averaged more shot attempts, field goal
in the finals, probably.
In the whole, like I'm saying, in the whole playoffs.
Yeah,
and points.
He was just coming back.
And that's what I'm saying. So that's 3 out of his 4 rings,
but
where he was a 3rd scoring option. On that team.
But this year he was still second.
No, he wasn't.
Option. Yeah, if you look at the stats right now.
Because before that, Poole was basically like I'm telling you, they let him have his fun coming back, and him being that 3rd option allowed him to go. But they ran sets for Curry and Wiggins all
I get
day
that,
long.
But still,
he was a 3rd option.
He was still scoring 19 points in the finals. Like he was the second option in the finals. He had second most points in the finals. And in the Western Conference, so.
But that's the thing,
that alone should tell you that he was coming back as a second option again.
But I promise you, he had more points, but he wasn't the second scoring option.
No, he was the No, he was.
Like
because
they ran,
because
Poole
was
Wiggins
on the bench.
It's Wiggins. That's what. No, it's Wiggins.
No.
Especially in the finals.
No, not at all.
Especially in the finals, they ran straight. They ran sets straight for Wiggins.
It was Klay. Wiggins played a great part on defense. That's why people wanted to put him as a Finals MVP, because he played so good against Jason Tatum. If you look at the stats, Klay Thompson had more points than Wiggins during the finals and during the Western Conference Finals. And that's an average of points. Like maybe some games Wiggins did have a few points, but as an average, Klay Thompson was averaging like 19 to 20 points, whereas Wiggins was at 16 or something like that. Not even. Like he was at 16, something like that. I'm not sure what.
Andrew Wiggins, when we're talking about the finals,
Here's the finals. What's that?
Stephen Curry averaged 11 shots made off of 22 attempted for 31 points. Wiggins, 16.8 shots attempted.
Okay, that's averages.
He made 7.5 for 18.3 points.
Okay, 18 points, yep.
Klay Thompson shot exactly the same, 16.8 shots attempted. Hit at a lesser rate at 6 instead of 7.5, and has 17 points instead of Wiggins 18.3. That's what I'm saying. I promise. So he had a lower average.
You're saying.
They both took the same amount of shots. I'll give you that. But Wiggins was second scoring on that team in the finals. And I promise you, watching every single one of those games as a Boston fan, they ran set after set for him. Like, he was the second scoring option. And then, like, Klay Thompson was a lot more on the bench. Like he was the one when Curry had to go off, like, they try to get him going, or in things like him and Poole and things like that, even though he started, obviously.
Okay.
But Wiggins was, like I'm saying, at 3 out of 4 of Klay Thompson's rings, he was the third scoring option.
I will give you that finals matchup, but definitely that Western Conference matchup.
Like, he went off against
he outplayed Dallas like insane.
I mean, and that's the thing.
Curry.
You got to go with the hot hand. You know what I'm saying?
And he averaged 19 points in that Dallas series, where Wiggins only averaged 18, like not even 18, like 17 something.
No, yeah. I definitely hear you. Like, he definitely went off, and even against Grizzlies, he had a couple good games, like where he was just like, at the end of the day,
I don't even
think
that he was like really demoted to that third option.
He never came back to the second. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He never got promoted back to second.
I mean,
at that point it was Curry's land. At that point it was Wiggins' lands, and at that point he was basically tied at third with Poole.
I was gonna say
Klay Thompson showed up in the playoffs where Poole's inexperience showed through. That's when he became clear cut. Like, I've been here before.
Okay, I'll give you that. I will give you that. That's a great point that you made right there. That is a great point about the playoff. About this playoff.
I'll be honest. I didn't even realize that until right now. That I didn't like. To me, I didn't realize that Klay Thompson was the third option.
I was thinking about the stat that they said about the Western Conference where he had 19 points and Wiggins had.
He went off.
He went off. That's why, and I thought that he pretty much. I mean, it really looked like he did the same thing. And honestly, the second defender was holding on to Klay Thompson pretty much the whole time. But that's beside the point. Like, he was out all year and he just came back playoffs. So in the future, you still see him being a second option. You still, like, in the future, you're not gonna see him moving like below Wiggins next year and going forward in the next like few years. I still see him getting better and better.
So to me it depends, because if Wiggins sign and Wiggins stay progressing just a little better than right now, for Klay's health, let's keep you you know what I'm saying? If we need you for certain games to go off, then you'll go off. But like at the end of the day, like that offense found a way to flow without him. Now they have to add him full time. I don't know if they're keeping Poole and or Wiggins, what's going on with both,
Right.
But they also got to incorporate Wiseman back in.
Right.
Like, Klay Thompson's going to be the easiest one because he's going to start. But at the end of the day, they're going to try to utilize Wiseman's a scoring big. It's not every other big since they won a championship has never been a big who can score.
That's true.
They broke that with Wiseman.
But now they got it.
They broke that. They want that, and he's going off in the summer league. You know what I'm saying? It's not the Splash Brothers.
They still got scorers,
but I'm saying, no, that's one point. It's not the Splash Brothers show anymore.
Yeah, but it still is because they got Poole.
I don't think it is.
They still got Poole.
No, but I'm saying it's not Klay and Curry anymore, and then everyone else who it's not like Klay is not going to be that second option. That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to be honest.
They have if Wiggins stay for sure. If Wiggins stay for sure, then with also Wiggins staying and incorporating Wiseman, he's going to get 17.
Yeah, possibly.
And now 17 is fantastic.
But then Curry's going to have to move down to like 23 then you're saying.
But then Wiggins going to give you 18.
Because
that's what I'm saying. Like they're going to basically
have to take a step down, even Poole, because at that point, Wiseman didn't play at all this year. So you're saying they're going to add 17 points.
Oh no, Poole's points per game is going to go down a lot now that Klay and Wiseman are back. 100%. Poole's the one that's going to lose the most, which is why he's probably not the one that's staying.
Right. But as far as the debate that we're having about Ray Allen and Klay Thompson,
I know we just spent mad time talking about the Warriors.
That is still
but no, and it is because it goes to prove to me, like I didn't even realize
that he was the third option three of the years.
3 of the years he won his championships.
But if you really feel like they still like made it to the playoffs and got to the finals when he was a second option, even though they lost to LeBron twice technically.
Oh yeah.
When he was a second option, they still made it to the finals. Whereas a guy like Ray Allen really never made it as a second option. He was he never made it to the finals as anything other than a third option, is what I mean.
But think about it. Ray's first playoff pushes were unsuccessful as his first option, and so when he finally tried it again, he just went to a team where he was the third.
Right.
Klay's first playoff pushes as a second option, while more successful than Ray's, were technically still unsuccessful. And then they brought in KD, and he became a third. So neither one of them. Klay won 1 ring. And that's the thing. Like, and even I love Draymond. I hate him as a Boston fan right now because I'm just mad about that finals. But I love him as I just like when he just has
when he talking shit.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, no, I do. So he basically said it like after we beat him the first year. Now obviously that was an injured Cavs team.
Right.
He was like the second year, like that gap was closing. The rest of the league was starting to figure out we needed KD. He was like, we don't beat the Cavs without KD. So at the end of the day, while he was obviously the second option when they won the first year, that was against a Cavs team that was injured. The second year he was a second option, they lost. Right after that, they went and got KD.
I feel you, but he was still like KD was out that last year where they won, and Klay was still pretty much a second option. If you remember, KD was injured, and Klay was still there.
KD won 2 Finals MVP.
Right. I'm talking about the year
that they lost.
The year that they lost, KD was out. Remember that?
Yeah, but Klay didn't.
Klay played up until the finals, and then he got injured as well. He broke his leg during Western. I think it was Western Conference at that point.
But KD got injured in the finals.
But that's just because he came back for 1 game, though. He was already out the whole playoffs, and then he came back 1 game, if you remember.
I mean,
KD he came back for the finals. He played 1 game, and then the next game he broke his leg.
If anything, that just goes to show that once again, when he was number 2, that they didn't win.
I get it, but what I'm saying is he made it to the finals when he was a number 2 option at least 3 times.
And only won once.
Only won once, but he made it to the finals when he was a second option. And one point about Ray Allen, he was demoted to the 3rd or 4th option.
But that's the thing. It's not even demoted. Like at that point, you want to get a champ. Like they both went to 3rd options as soon as they knew they couldn't win. Simple as that.
I feel you. And honestly, championships do mean something. I know he went to
one got KD,
team.
The other one went to another team.
Yeah, but I mean, the Boston team should have won 2 in a row, but they didn't.
Least.
But
At
honestly,
least.
But then again, if Ray Allen didn't make that crazy shot in Miami, the one that everyone knows him about, then would his career even be looked at slightly different with 1 ring instead of 2? I still don't think it would be. I still think he's a hell of a player, Hall of Famer, and
but that's why he's Ray Allen. That's why we're having this conversation. That's why we're having this conversation on if Klay's better than him, because Klay already has 4 rings, but Ray literally solidified his legacy and his shooting legacy with that 1 shot right there.
And you know what? I'm gonna give him that. Like that shot was incredible. Like obviously,
and at that point, he was the leading 3-point. Like you know what I'm saying. Like at that point, there was no Steph Curry. Like he put himself on top of that pedestal.
Yeah.
And I believe Steph Curry 100% has passed him.
Obviously, yeah.
I don't think
last year. Yeah,
exactly.
I
don't think Klay has yet.
I agree with you that he's not there yet. But here's my thing: the potential for Klay to finish his career above Ray Allen is there. That's where I'm going to go with it.
He just needs the shooting numbers.
So my final argument is this. We can double the games. If you pretty much look at it right now, Klay's at 650 games. I'm just going to average it out. 650 games to 1,300 games for Ray Allen. So basically half. Pretty much half. If you look at it, basically half. But the points are about the same. I think that Allen's got him on the assists, but Klay would have him on the rebounds. If we're to double everything, Ray would have him on the steals. Klay would have him on the blocks easily. Here's my thing. Look at the playoff numbers. The playoff numbers are totally skewed towards Klay Thompson's side.
Shorter and long, like
in a shorter career.
More in a shorter time, yeah.
30 less games, and he's got more points, more rebounds, less assists, but
I was saying 18
more
years
blocks and more
stretched them
steals.
numbers out.
I get that it should.
We're missing 10 for Klay, or like 7.
But that's what I'm saying. Like his playoff numbers are crazy, and that goes to show you that even when Ray Allen was number 1 on his team, he couldn't really take him there as a number 1. So he was struggling to take him there. I'm not saying Ray Allen was a scrub, bro, because Ray Allen was a beast.
I would say
he was
my man
25, 6,
yeah, I was about to
6.
say
Like,
my man was giving them work. And that's the thing, like, and that's why that's when he was getting all them All-Stars appearances, and that's why Klay don't really have no All-Stars appearances, because he's just.
But I mean, they got like half. He's got half.
Half. That's what I'm saying.
Like that's
and they
not
got
bad.
the same amount
And
basically
also,
as number 2s and 3s, but Klay was out there as a number 1 top of the league. Like he was top of the league, not like the top. But I'm saying he was literally top 5, top 3 shooting guards in the league, and even when he was young in Milwaukee.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like there's more top shooting guards now than there was back then.
100%.
Now, so that's why he's.
But
not.
he was out here guarding Kobe every night. I don't want to hear it.
Who, Ray Allen?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great shooting guard. And there was T-Mac back then.
Like he was out there giving,
Allen
and he
Iverson.
was giving them work.
So, but
and as I say, those better defensive guards too, and he was giving them work.
Yeah, that's why. Like I'm gonna be honest. I'm surprised that he got as many because T-Mac was a shooting guard. You know, you had like other guys in the East. That
And
were
that's why a lot of
really
people
good,
forget how nasty.
But in the West, you had guys,
Milwaukee, Ray Allen was.
Yeah, in the West though, you got like shooting guards, like obviously like Harden's out there, you got Booker out there that's like taking that spot. Plus, one thing about Klay Thompson, he's got these career stats. Plus, he missed a year and a half of basketball, bro. He's got all these career stats. Only played half the season.
But look at literally 97% of those stats are before. He got one playoff run and then half a season. So most of these stats are before that. So
that's my thing. So basically, Ray Allen played 18 seasons, and Ray Allen played 18 seasons, and Klay Thompson only played 7.5, basically, instead of 9, because he missed a year and a half. Ray Allen was out, a year actually, in Milwaukee. He was out a whole year.
And I think he got injured in Seattle.
Yeah,
I gotta see. I don't know.
But yeah, he definitely.
But no. I think the potential to finish at number 2, of pretty much not just the best shooter number 2, but to finish as where people will say he's a better. But that's the thing. Like I don't want to sound like an old head, but like I said, like so. Okay, no, I am gonna sound like an old head because every time the MJ and LeBron thing come up, people like to nitpick certain criteria and be like, "Oh, well, 6 or no," or like MJ didn't get swept by the Celtics, or couldn't even make the playoffs, or blah blah blah. So I have a certain criteria for me to think he's better overall than Ray Allen. I need to see him be a number 1. I've never seen that from him, because at the end of the day, you literally have been scoring 17 points a game with the best shooter in the world standing next to you for the last 8 years. And then for 2 of those years, they added in KD.
I can't hold you.
You're getting hella space. I need to see, to me, I feel like that's just something missing. And I don't like to, I am usually not that type of person. I'm like, hey, at this point, with this resume, it's almost no question at the end, he's going to have the resume and the accolades to 100% say he's a better player than Ray Allen. But at the end of the day, you put them both one-on-one, I still think Ray Allen wins in their prime. To me, that means he's the better overall player. I was
literally just going to say, style of play. What do you prefer? Style of play. If they were to play against each other one-on-one, you're saying Ray Allen. See, to me, they kind of play similar games, whereas they especially Ray Allen late in his career, definitely used to go off the screen, off ball.
But bro, we've never seen Klay Thompson be guarded by the best defender on the other team.
We kind of have in a few spots, but I'm just saying
consistently.
But as far as ball handling ability, bro, Ray
Allen has way better, way more athletic, way more jump. Let's just say the only thing that can be argued right now is a defense.
Numbers. Yeah, okay.
It's a defense.
Defense.
Yeah, and to me, I just said it. Them steals don't lie. So to me, that shows that they each have their own version
of
steals.
He's known for blocking and then altering shots. That's what he's known for.
Right.
He's not known for stealing.
But Ray Allen clearly is, and that's why I don't get he literally finished with almost 1,500 steals.
Yeah, I mean that's almost like 100. That's 1.1 a year, pretty much. Like
so to me, besides like being a champion, if you go like 1-on-1 and lay up all the skills like athleticism, inside scoring, outside scoring, defense, like I'll give Klay Thompson the defense, and literally that's it. Ray Allen in my head wins every other category in their prime. Better inside scorer, better mid range, better outside scorer. Pretty much more
can't
clutch.
Go there. See, that's where you got it wrong way. That the outside scoring, I gotta, even though the stats go towards Ray Allen right now, the outside scoring gotta go towards Ray Allen. First of all, he has the record for most in a game, 14. Second of all, he has the third most in a game at 11 or 13.
But in that game that he scored 14, they were double teaming Curry. And that's my whole point. Ray Allen wasn't getting space like that.
But as a number
one,
and
still they took over the number one spot of scoring.
Even then, though, as a number one option, he only shot 5 a game. You said, or he made 5.
No, that's a career.
Okay, that's in his career basically. So even then, like before that, he probably shot around 6. Like in Klay Thompson's career, he's shooting around 7 a game as a second option. So I think the outside shooting has got to go to Klay.
Right, and he's still only like an 8th, and that's what I'm saying. Like.
But he's got half of the career of Ray Allen, and he's an 8th right now.
Yeah, and you can't convince him if he wasn't standing next to Steph Curry, he wouldn't be getting all that space and all them numbers. He's literally played next to. Now, mind you, it's not that he's not a good shooter. Like I'm not saying that. And 100%, I'll be honest, he will finish second on that list. I get that, but I still don't think he's a better overall basketball player.
Yeah, I mean, overall is where you're right. That's where I'm gonna agree with you right there. That's a great point. Overall, like I said, if you put him,
and that's the thing. That's like I said with the clutchness. If you had to put both of them next to me and say pick one to hit a 3, and the fate of the world depends on it, I'm turning to Ray.
See, I don't know. Is there gonna be a screen guy that's gonna make sure that my man Klay's gonna run around the screen? Because Klay can run around some screens.
He can, but so can Ray. But I'm saying 1-on-1, you got to create your own shot. And that's what I'm saying. Like 3-point shot, it's not about coming off of screens. It's about 3-point shot. And now they both obviously got it, but I don't think and I don't even want to give the defense to Klay because I think Klay Thompson somehow set a narrative where he fooled the NBA that he was
not at all. Like you gotta remember, he was first team all defense. Like his arms are so long. Like if you look at his length, he literally alters shots. Like he doesn't get steals. He's not fast. He's not known for being fast. He was a little bit before, but he alters shots. Like he averages almost a block a game, a little bit more, maybe like 1.1 blocks a game. That's great for what he is, a shooting guard, small forward. That's amazing. Not many guys that are 6'7" do that.
He literally made a defensive team, the second defensive team once. That's it. But everyone was convinced here's the thing, that whole championship run, yes, he was the better defender out of Harrison Barnes and Stephen Curry. But everyone literally had Klay Thompson's an elite defender, and the man was getting dropped for 25 plus a night for the last 7 years. And that's what I've been saying. Like before the injury, I just started to realize I don't think this man is really a defender that they say he is.
Yeah, but look who he's
playing
against.
And I'm not the only one who said that.
He's playing against James Harden, Devin Booker. Like, he's playing against the best guys in the league, like, that are scorers. So, obviously, he's going to get scored on. Like
the defensive stats don't even help. Like literally, there is no defense. That's why I'm saying that. Not because I don't like him. I used to say that with everyone else. I used to be like, yeah, my man's literally a top defender. And then one day I thought about it. I looked at it, and then I looked at the stats, and I'm like, yeah, this man actually be getting dropped off.
Being second team All NBA means
once.
That you're even that
once.
Even that means that you're the second best of your position at defense. Second team All Defense. There's only 5 on first on all team.
But they do guards forward, so basically he's like third and fourth.
Yeah, but they do point guards, shooting guards on that one. They really do. They do it more by
I didn't seen
they don't
3 guards and 2
forwards.
forwards on. Yes, I didn't seen 3 guards and 2 forwards
I get that,
on
but
an NBA
on the
team.
All NBA one, they really put it closer to the actual position. They do point guard, shooting guard, small forward. They don't actually go by their forward, guard, center. They don't go like the All-Star team does it. They actually really do it by position. Like he's got to be a shooting guard to get in this spot. And they really have one of each. They don't have 2 point guards. Like they're not gonna have Steph Curry and John Morant and NBA first all team. That's never gonna happen. is going to be a point guard and a shooting guard. It's not going to be ever 2 point guards in an NBA first all team. That's never going to happen. So that's the only reason why I'm saying that is, yes, he was second best in his position at that point, and he's holding some of the best guys in the league. I will give you like all that you said about Ray Allen, that he was the first on his team, top guy. Klay's never been that, and to me, I want to ask you this question in a second.
Just because
I wanted to ask you if after you let me know about that
because he won that one second team defensive one in 19.
Right.
So it literally, let me see.
Is that third championships they got?
That's the third with KD.
Right.
So literally he couldn't get a recognition for playing defense
Until he played the third, like defense on a third guy or something, maybe.
because KD played great. Now anyone who goes to the Warriors, including obviously Andrew Wiggins, improved their defense because they expect that out of you. Literally, he had to play next to KD and Curry for someone to finally say, like, you know what, let's put him on the second team. And he's not. That. But that's what I'm saying. Like, everyone was saying he was such a good defender before they got KD, and he had no stats or no wars to prove it. They finally gave him a second team, literally in 2019.
I get it, bro, but we still went over the blocks. He still has over a block a game in his career. Yes.
0.5.
Bro.
It wasn't over a block.
Bro, he has 300 blocks, right?
It was literally like a 0.5, half a block a game, and Ray Allen's like a 0.3, 0.4.
Klay Thompson has 300 blocks, right? We're saying 350 blocks, and he's had 600 games. So that's like 0.5, 0.6. Okay,
that's what I'm saying. He's at half.
Ray Allen
they're both at literally under. They're both at under
Ray
a block
Allen
a game.
Ray Allen is at 0.1, 0.2. Like he's at 0.2. Because he's had 1,600 games and he had 240 blocks. So I mean, already
he has 1,300 games.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm counting the playoff games as well.
But that's what I'm saying. You're counting regular season stats.
Yeah.
With playoff games added to the number.
But
of
no,
games.
I added the total block. I mean, the total steals, and that's why I had like the whole.
So like Klay Thompson has 647 total games, and he got 349 blocks. So it's basically just under 0.5. And Ray had 244 blocks for 1,300 games. So he's like at 0.2, 0.3.
Okay. But if we add...
But listen. To me, guards fighting over 0.2 blocks per game and 0.5 blocks per game.
I mean, there's a difference.
Neither one of you are getting a full block a game. Literally one person is getting one block every 3 games. But the other one's getting one block every other game. And like... And that's why, to me, blocks aren't impressive because you're really not getting much. But for him to have 1,500 steals,
I get it.
That's so underrated, and I feel like people just don't they just don't understand.
I get it, but there's still like other things that go into a true defensive percentage. Like there's a lot.
Yeah, and Klay Thompson's aren't
shots, good. And he obviously it was good enough that year in 2019.
1 year.
And I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he was guarding the third guy at that point just because he was a shooting guard. He was guarding whoever.
Well, at that year, I feel like no, at that year he was still, but that's also the year he got injured in the playoffs. So no, he was probably guarding the better guard still, before Curry. Like he was guarding the better guard, but KD was 100% guarding the better wing. But before, they used to have Klay on the wings as well. Like if someone was a 3, Klay had to go out there and step up on him. But with KD, they didn't have to do that because KD and Draymond, they could figure out the wings. True. So at that point, that's what I'm saying. His defensive assignment finally became only guards, and he got a second team.
I get that, but let's just look at playoff stats. At this point, bro, with 30 less games, Klay Thompson is out winning Ray Allen stats.
Hey, no, and I feel you. And at the end of the career, all his stats might be better, but I don't think I'll still consider him a better player.
And I get you. So I'm gonna give you this last thing. What you said was right about Ray Allen being a number one option because in 2005 he had 26 points a game, which was the most he ever had. And Klay Thompson in 2016 he had 24 points a game, which is the most he ever had. So Ray Allen has him beat there.
And that was prime That was prime Klay Thompson.
Prime Klay Thompson, prime Ray Allen.
I think that was because
Ray Allen
after
had 2
that
more points.
KD came, and after that he got injured.
That was,
and now we won't see that
was
again.
Harrison Barnes.
So
here, yeah.
I think that was prime Klay Thompson.
Well, see, here's the thing though. Last question, real quick, because you made a great point. Is like you wanted to see. You're not gonna believe Klay Thompson is a top player or is close to Ray Allen's career until he becomes the first option.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Klay Thompson is ever gonna become a first option? Because in my mind,
no, it's over. Yeah,
so
he's
you
gonna
believe
be.
that too?
It's there's no point. You didn't just won 4 rings.
Right.
Him and Curry are staying together.
Yeah.
And at one point, one of them retired. Klay will go ride the bench somewhere else for a
right.
contender. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at this point, it's over.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't even think he's going to be number 2 anymore moving forward. Like, they're going to try to build that young core more into, especially if they got that young core.
I still think that
it's going to be Curry number 1, obviously. And then they're going to put one of them young guys before Klay. Because they know Klay can go get his whenever they need to. They know if they need to put Curry down or if someone gets in foul trouble, Klay can stay on that court for the whole first quarter.
I don't agree.
Like, I think
I think Klay's gonna go back to scoring around like 19, 20.
Nah,
that's me next.
I don't give him more than 17.
Okay.
Because I'm promise you, Wiseman's gotta get not even gotta, but like they're gonna want him to get his double.
Okay.
Like that's what he's meant to be. He's a double player.
He is a double, but I don't see that 17 happening. Like that's
no Wiseman.
That's wild for right now. That's
not Wiseman, or you see that's too low.
No, that's what you said.
No, 17 for Thompson.
Wiseman. No. Before, remember you were saying Wiseman's gonna get 17.
No, that's Wiggins.
No. Before we were talking about Wiseman when he comes back, and you were saying Wiseman's gonna get 17 a game, and I was like, those points got to go off. Like somebody else, his points got to go down.
No, I said basically Wiggins. Curry's going to get like 20-something, and then Wiggins and Klay are both going to get 17 and 19.
Right, but when we were talking about Wiseman before...
No, I didn't get... He's not going to get 17. I didn't give him that much.
No, that's what you said. That's why I brought up...
No, I said... That's what I said. Wiggins.
Okay.
That's what I said. Wiseman's not getting 17. That's too much. They're not giving... Wiggins is going to get 17.
You're saying he's going to get 10 and 10.
That's what they're going to want from him. Yes, that's what I believe they're going to try.
That's exactly what I
believe. They're going to try to get 10 and 10 from him.
And I agree with that. And that's why I think that Klay Thompson is going to get back to his thing and start scoring more. It's going to be Poole and Wiggins that are going to take that drop, and Curry. Curry's going to go down to 23, 24
Wiggins not
points.
taking a drop.
They're all taking a drop because I think Wiggins is out of there. So
no, if they keep if they keep Poole, let go of Wiggins.
Right, that's
Klay Thompson. That's the only way Klay Thompson claims his number 2 spot.
That's what's going to happen.
If they keep Poole, get rid of Wiggins. Poole's coming off the bench. They're gonna let Kuminga and Wiseman
they got Kuminga
to try to let that's his number 2. If they keep Wiggins, I promise you, Wiggins gonna be that number 2.
In the future, I see them trading Wiggins, but
I don't think they should.
No, I think they will.
Like at the end of the day,
right now Wiggins got the most that you can get for him right now.
Yeah,
he was playing amazing in the playoffs. He's a defensive specialist right now, as people think, and he's a third option, like you just said with Klay Thompson was. So basically, Wiggins, he was looked at as one of the best like defensive options.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, and here's what they're looking at. He's already showed that he could be the second guy. He already showed that he could step up on defense, and he already showed that he could battle through the waters when it comes to the playoffs. Poole is still inconsistent, and Poole disappeared a lot in the playoff run. Like that's not the one thing. If they can keep Wiggins, they're gonna keep Wiggins and Wiggins, Curry, Thompson.
Well, you can't pay all of them,
and that's why I think
pay
Poole,
Wiseman soon too. Like you can't. You got.
Well, they can worry about that next year.
Yeah. But Poole's gonna want his money after next year. He's gonna want his money.
That's the thing. I don't know. Like Poole. That's the thing. I don't know what they're doing at all. Like at this point, I would try to keep Wiggins over Poole right now.
They got their money. All right.
Right.
They got their money.
Draymond's there.
Draymond's still there, and he's on a lower contract, but they're worried about either Wiseman or
Wiseman. They still got Wiseman for 2 more though.
So you got 3 guys: Wiseman, Poole, and Wiggins.
They still got Wiseman for 2 more though.
Yeah. And so basically
right now, Poole and Wiggins, and they both want money. And at this point, they're already over, and they can't pay both. So at this point, just pay Wiggins. You're gonna get the money back.
I'm on the opposite end. I think it's gonna. Well, yes. Think about it this way: like Curry's towards the end of his career, Klay Thompson's towards the end of his career. Possibly they want to retire early, maybe because they've done so much in their.
Well, that's my point. You already got Wiseman. You already got Kuminga. You want to sign Wiseman because he is a centerpiece. So in 2 years, you're gonna want to give him that contract.
Do you though? I mean,
yes, he's a centerpiece.
I mean, look at what the Suns were just looking at with Ayton. They didn't look at him as a centerpiece, and he's like the same thing as Wiseman.
Ayton can't shoot like Wiseman.
But still, they're similar body style. They're a 10 and 10 guy.
Wiseman was a steal. So I think they're gonna really want to, because that's the thing too. They know that Flash brother outside, like that's not gonna last. And like they know Draymond's going soon. They know Klay and Curry are both. They're all got a couple years left.
See, my thing is this. I think that shooting outlasts what Wiggins has. Wiggins has athleticism, and I think that kind of goes away. Whereas shooting with Poole, that stays. So I think that they're gonna try to keep Poole, and they're gonna get rid of Wiggins.
Well, that's the thing. You know, here's the thing. They know they're gonna get Wiseman. That's the thing. To them, it's all looking at the future. What they want out of Poole, they don't need right now. What he wants, like basically what he can provide, they don't need all that from him right now. But they don't want to pay him.
Of course not.
What he wants.
Not until next year.
So
they gotta put one more year.
At this point, it's better to keep the core you want, and when they finally do dwindle, there's going to be shooters out there.
Yeah, but
like that's to say, Poole's not the one you.
Though, who's the core? Is the core
Kuminga and Wiseman?
Okay,
easily right there.
But then that's what I mean. One of these guys, Poole or Wiggins, is gonna have to leave.
No, and
it's gonna be either one of
Kuminga,
those guys.
Wiseman, and I would say Wiggins.
So you're saying Poole's gonna be leaving?
And then like I said,
that,
the shooters come and go.
Okay,
obviously,
so I'm the opposite.
The shooters come and go because, like I said, while obviously Poole had a great year, he was a little inconsistent. The biggest liability on defense, and he hasn't showed, like, obviously he made like 2 half-court shots, but he was not that great in the playoffs.
Come on, he was scoring 22 points a game almost this year. And
no, he had a great year. That's what I'm saying.
Also, like, I get that you say that, he's definitely inconsistent, but my man just came out of the G League a year and a half ago. So.
And I understand that. And right now, with the amount of money he wants, they don't need him to provide what they. But
I disagree with what you said, like, about the shooters, because that's what we were just talking about. Ray Allen, like, you see Ray Allen towards the end of his career, he became more of just a shooter, and that actually lasts you a lot longer. Like, I could see a guy like Klay
and that's
Thompson,
what I'm saying. Shooters come and go. So right now,
but they come and go. But
Poole want that young, like he want that money.
But see,
in a couple years, they could find another shooter who's There's so many people. Literally, think about in 2 years, like Joe Harris.
I get that, but Joe Harris is not averaging 20 points a game, even though he was a
that's
second
what I'm saying.
option.
They don't need,
but he was a second.
They don't
option
need Poole
for Brooklyn
for averaging 20 if they're gonna keep Wiggins, Wiseman, and Kuminga. They just need shooters. With that's what I'm saying.
But that's what I mean. If they need shooters, keep Poole, keep Klay Thompson, keep Curry. Why do you?
But
need,
I'm saying Poole is not averaging all his points off of shots. Like, he's a shot creator. He goes in. He does, like, he literally knows how to
threes too.
Not as much as you think. That's what I'm saying. They will, if they want to keep the core, then they're gonna go out there and just get someone who's gonna shoot 5 to 7 threes a game.
I know, but we're talking about Wiggins and Poole right now. We're
and that's what I'm saying. They're gonna want to keep that two-way defender in Wiggins, they're gonna want to keep the two-way 3-level scorer in Wiggins. They're gonna sign Wiseman in a couple years when that contract is up. And at this point, Kuminga is still on a good contract. At that point, you let the shooters go because your shooters want more money because they're great ball handlers and shot creators. You can just go get a shooter.
And see, with me, just like we were talking about Ray Allen, like Ray Allen's career and move towards that, just a shooter as a third option.
Well, I'm saying that's not Poole right now.
But honestly, with Klay Thompson, it might have to be.
But
look at him; he's on the bench right now. When he was in the playoffs,
and that's why no one thinks he's staying, because everyone see that he can do way more than be a shooter, which is why someone's gonna try to pay him his money to go be a ball. Like, that's what I'm saying. You're saying like Ray Allen transitions to a shooter, yes, because he was at the end of his career. Poole's basically in the beginning of his prime. He don't want to be. That's what I'm saying. The Warriors are not gonna pay him what he wants to just be a shooter. Because he know what he wants, because he know he can do more than that.
I could see that unless
they're gonna pay Wiggins to do everything Wiggins do, because they need exactly everything that Wiggins
unless
do.
They switch up their lineup somehow and obviously make one of these two guys, either Curry or Poole, like a shooting guard, and then move to the small forward position. That's the only
if
way
they can keep all of them, we wouldn't have none of this conversation.
No, but it's
right now
between one of those
Poole
two,
and Wiggins, and I promise you, they're trying to keep Wiggins over Poole.
And I'm gonna be honest, just because we were talking about that, like athleticism, I think that goes down more than shooting, because I think shooting stays with you late in your career. With athleticism, you can get injured. There's issues that can happen. Like, obviously, you're more contact.
Okay, but you know what they're thinking? Then they'll wait till Poole's career, get unathletic, and then buy him back on the minimum when he's just a shooter. That's what I'm saying. They need everything Wiggins needs to bring to the table. They can't afford what Poole brings to the table because they don't need it all. But they need everything Wiggins.
like you just said before, he's not just a shooter. He is a shot creator, but he looks like he could be a possible number 1 option, number 2 option on a team.
Right.
So why not keep him?
Because he wants that money now.
Well, not
and
now.
right. No, that's the point.
Year.
He
like
wants that money now, and right now he can't be the number 1 or the number 2.
Right.
And he wants number 1 and number 2 money, and that's the problem. Wiggins want number 1, number 2 money. He can get that because he's been the number 1, number
Wiggins
2.
Not getting no number 1 money. Wiggins getting number 2 money. No way he's the number 1
Okay,
option.
didn't say number 2.
I think,
but
Poole,
let's literally let me finish. Like he can get the number 1 and number 2 money because you're literally focused on the 1. Okay, then he can get the number 2.
I agree with you with the Poole. Poole can get number 1 money.
Not right now. Poole's,
No.
I'm talking about right now. If you, literally,
But nobody's paying them
Poole.
right now. We're waiting 1 year.
Okay.
No, but we both.
We're,
had
li-
this, we both
we're
had this
literally
conversation.
talking about right now.
But
They want to get rid of both of them. They can't keep.
They're not getting paid right now this year. They're getting paid next year because they're still under contract.
But this right now, they can't keep both.
they can right now.
No, they can't. That's been the whole conversation the last 2 months
They're both-
about Wiggins and Poole. One of them has to go.
They're both under contract right now. They don't want to stay because they want to get a long-term contract right
with
now.
bigger money.
But they
And
don't
so
have
right
to be
now,
paid. But they don't have to be paid right now.
Right now, Poole wants his money, and the Warriors aren't inclined to give it to him. That's literally what I've been saying. Wiggins has been literally the number 1 or number 2 option on both sides of the ball. If you want, because you're literally focused on the number 1, then we'll just say number 2.
No,
Wiggins have been.
I was just talking about money-wise. I don't know about play, but
Poole's not worth number 1 and number 2 money-wise. So how come you didn't interrupt me when I said that?
Because I think that Poole is worth number 1 money-wise.
Right now.
At this point in his career,
Right now, you'll get Poole number 1 money.
Like here's the, no.
Wait, he just showed you being an inconsistent number 3. You're telling me he's worth number 1 money.
He wouldn't be getting paid this year. He would be getting paid next year.
So based off what you've seen from him this year, you
No,
think by
what
next
I'm-
year he's number 1 money?
What I'm saying is, if he has a
He's
consistent,
worth Luka Doncic.
if he has a consistent year this year, comparable to what he just did, yes, he's gonna get money like Anthony Simmons.
Anthony Simmons didn't get number 1 money.
He did. He got 145 million. That's 4 years. That's number 1 money. That's number 1 money. That's not supermax money, but that's number 1
that's what I
money.
mean by number. Like,
No, that supermax money you have to be an all NBA player. You can't get it unless you're all.
but like
NBA.
that's what I'm saying. Like, no one Poole wants his money, and someone's gonna go pay him to play, and they're gonna pay him good money to play. But right now, whatever good money the Warriors are gonna spend is gonna go to the person who has been guarding the second or best player on your team,
Listen,
and then scoring the second
check
best
this,
on your
check
team.
this though. Number 1 money is what the Knicks just did for Jalen Brunson. You don't think that somebody's gonna pay that type of money to Poole?
Not this year, no.
I agree with you, but like we just said, nobody's paying him this year. They're waiting until next year because he's under contract.
But
Wiggins
he's
is
trying
under
to leave this
But
year.
he's not leaving because he's under contract. He can't just leave. He's under
But
contract.
they can, literally, there's so much overtax. They're trying to find a way to get one of them to go because they have no bench.
Joe Lacob already came out and said everyone else in the league is mad at him because he keeps paying the luxury tax. He literally just came out and said this. He said that all the other GMs and all the other owners are mad at me because I keep paying the luxury tax and we're just keep having great seasons. Like, he doesn't care about paying luxury taxes, but he can't pay 4 people in a row.
It's a team option.
And they have the team option. They're keeping
Did
him.
they take it already?
They already took it. This year, Wiggins and Poole are on the team. This year doesn't matter. They're on the team. There's nothing that can happen. The only thing that they want is an extension. And they're not getting the extension. That's why they're mad. But that's my point. I think that Poole can get number 1 money just like Jalen Brunson just got.
Oh, so if both of them are on the team, then Poole's definitely not going to get number 1 money because he's going to be the number 3. He's not going to show that he's worth number 1 money. And that's my whole point. He's never, when he goes somewhere else, he's going to get a shot. But that's literally help for me. It helps my case even more because if that whole team stays together right now, then he's not being the number 2 option.
And that's where I think that
because
I don't think that they're going to stay together. I do think that Wiggins is going to move right now. He's got a good trade right now. He's got
so that's what you're saying. You think that they gonna keep both but move Wiggins?
Right now they have they have the option to keep both right now because they're both under contract.
So you think they're gonna
Just
try
like
to keep
KD,
Wiggins
just
but
like
move
KD's
him?
under contract.
I think they want to keep him to keep him.
No, because then they're gonna get nothing. Just like you said, if they keep him, and then he's just gonna go somewhere to be the number 1 option next year. After this year, he's gonna want to move somewhere else. Like, they're gonna want to trade him while he has
but
value.
we've seen a couple Warriors sign some team friendly deals.
Draymond was the only one.
Steph did too.
Nah, not at all. Steph has one of the biggest deals in the history.
Before
of the
that,
NBA.
he signed a team friendly deal.
He has a 205 5-year deal.
You not before that?
Okay,
I literally just said
he
before
wasn't
that.
a star. Like
Yes,
really.
Steph was Steph, and he signed a team-friendly deal so they could keep that core together like 4 or 5 years ago. Remember, it's 2022. They first won that first
He
championship in
signed that deal in
16.
2019 though, so like it's been 3 years since he signed it, and now he's got to get paid $45 million next year.
I understand, but
40
Steph
million.
literally, and it's not even like I'm the only one saying this. It's worldwide known that Steph took a pay cut that first big contract,
Yeah, but
so he can.
Do you know why that is though?
Why?
Because early in his career, he was getting ankle problems, and they didn't want to give him that big contract because they didn't trust him. And if you remember, Mark Jackson actually came out
he
and said,
literally like there's documentaries where stuff came out and like they wanted to negotiate more, but he was he just wanted the security was just enough for him. 2, he was clearly making good enough, and 3, they wanted to keep a good core, and he knew that if he took all that money, that they weren't gonna ever go anywhere. Like he said it multiple times for 7 years. I don't know how you never heard him say
the only
this.
team-friendly contract I heard about is when KD came in and Draymond took that team-friendly contract where he was taking like $7 million a year. That was the only team-friendly contract I heard, because Draymond really took a step back when KD came in and was getting still paid like $31 million a year. He was the one that really took a step back. Curry, he had early in his career, he had ankle problems, so they didn't pay him that much. They didn't like after his rookie contract, they didn't pay him that much because they knew that he was a liability with his injuries. He had a year like early in his career where he was out because of ankle problems, and then obviously he just came out 2015, 2016, started balling out, and then they gave him that contract after his first 2. Obviously after KD came in and his first 3 championships, because it was after KD left is when they paid Curry that $205 million contract for 5 years, which was the biggest at the time. And this was 3 years ago. So I don't know. Like in a sense, you're right. He did take that, but it's a team that gave him that contract because he was injury prone. Like a guy like Poole doesn't seem to be injury prone yet in his career. And it's still early in his career, so we don't know. And same with Wiggins. So you think they're gonna get a big contract, so they're gonna have to move.
I'll give it to you
because he was injured.
No, the dates. Yeah, I'll give it to you.
He was injured, but
He
a
really
guy
didn't
like
have much
Poole,
to negotiate with. I'll give it to you.
But a guy like Poole, I think he does. I think he has the no. Look at just what happened.
Yeah, but they ain't got no money.
No, they don't. I know, and you know what?
And that's what to me. If they have to give money to someone, they're gonna want to give it to Wiggins.
But I know we did just go through like the Warriors real quick, but let's just kind of bring it back to
Ray Allen versus Klay Thompson.
Because you know what?
I forgot we were talking about that.
But that's still a great debate, because man, all these guys are honestly great, and it's interesting for Klay.
I know,
because if Poole stays, then
to me it hurts his overall.
Exactly. So
yeah,
that definitely helps this debate. If Poole stays and he becomes that second option, this is gonna ruin Klay's
and that's the thing. I think Klay becomes 2.5/3 or 2B to someone's 2A for the rest of his career, because the Warriors are never going to be comfortable with just Curry and Klay because they're both injury prone. They're always going to have someone else in there to take that pressure off, and I think they're always going to put that second person before Klay because Klay's the one who can get going when he needs to.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I don't think Klay is moving anywhere. I don't think Klay is going anywhere.
So I think he's a 2B for the rest of his career.
But I've always had this thought that Klay possibly is going to move to LA late in his career, to the LA Lakers possibly late in his career. He loves the Lakers. Michael Thompson obviously is a commentator out there, and the history with his father obviously played out there. So that's the only thing with him. But as far as Ray Allen didn't nearly see enough money that Klay Thompson did.
Not at all.
Like, my man had I remember one of his contracts. You want to hear this? This is hilarious. He had a 5-year, $98 million contract. I mean, it's not really hilarious because it's still amazing. But
right,
my man Klay signed like.
And we was all calling Steph Curry's 4-year, $44 million extension broke.
Right, and my man Klay signed a 175 5-year. So, I mean, damn. So if you go by salary, then Klay's got him beat a little bit.
Yeah, that ain't fair though.
That ain't fair.
We got to use inflation rates. And
I know that's true. But you know what? I'm gonna have to on this debate. I was going with it, and I'm trying to get play the devil's advocate a little bit, because I do think that in the end of his career, still in my mind, I still believe that Klay is gonna be the best. He's gonna turn out to be the best in his career, as far as this debate goes. But what about you, though? Just a final thought on this debate.
Yeah, no, for sure. At the end of the day, the resume, the stats, like you said, he's going to end up surpassing when it comes to the overall accolades. 100% with 1,000 threes away. I can 100% see him being number 2 overall. Obviously, 1,000 plus threes behind Curry. He's not passing Curry because Curry's still active. Obviously, he might even get another championship or 2.
Right.
But at least he might. He's 100% prone to get one more.
Right.
Like, definitely, So he's already over with the championships, Maybe, I don't think I see him getting any All-Star selections or anything like that. So still without all that, I definitely do think that he'll have an overall better career. But hey, he's already had an overall better career than than a lot of players that are probably better than him. You know what I'm saying? And I think Ray Allen is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie. You're right about that. And I think that right now, as we sit here and talk, I do agree with you. I think that Ray Allen has a better career. And possibly if Klay does stay at this, at that second level, third level, then he is going to be, a little bit less than Ray Allen in points and in everything.
Yeah, no.
But playoff stats don't lie, and he's got him in playoff stats, so we can just say that. But anyways, if you guys want to add your answer, please go ahead and add it below. We definitely want to hear what you guys got to say about this one.
Oh, yeah.
This is definitely an interesting topic. And, if you guys want to follow us on our social media, let us know.
Oh, yeah, you already know how it is. We love the interaction. We love talking to our fans. We pretty much get a lot of our episodes, our episode ideas from y'all, especially when it comes to the off season. So you know how we love our couple sports, 3 different sports that we run, or 4 actually. So anything you want to hear, just let us know. That's exactly what we're here for. And obviously, like Yas or Rado said, you can find us on pretty much almost any platform, social media, all podcast
Exactly.
platforms, and obviously YouTube and things like that.
Exactly. If you guys are watching on the YouTube, make sure you guys click that subscribe button. If you guys are watching anywhere else, make sure you guys follow us and subscribe, rate it. We're on, like you said, podcast platforms like Spotify, Apple, everywhere. Make sure you guys rate and subscribe us there. Also, if you want to check out our Patreon, please go ahead and check us out there. But anyways, we want to just thank you guys for listening to this episode. I know this was a little wild when we went through a lot of different categories in this one, but I think it's great because it shows like the progression of both of these players, or what one of these players at least can do.
Right,
which is Klay Thompson, and also the other one, we can see what happens to him, at the end of their career. So really thank you guys for watching this episode, and we'll check you guys later on another episode of Who You Got with
Mellow
and Rado. Peace, y'all.
Peace.